Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the United Stand. I'm bringing you today's latest Manchester United news this morning. I do apologise for the delay early on this morning. We did have a bit of gremlin going about in the studio, which interfered with our audio, but we got it all sorted and we are live. Straight off the back, I want to touch on the latest news that has come out. French reporter Fabrice Hawkins is reporting that Manchester United, Chelsea and AC Milan are all monitoring Jean-Claire Todibo's position right now. However, OGC Nice hope to keep the defender this month. This could mean a huge blow for Manchester United if you ask me. We know Tottenham Hotspur are also interested in Jean-Claire Todibo as well. With the takeover situation happening in Manchester United and Sir Jim Ratcliffe taking over 25% of Manchester United, I would have thought this deal would have happened probably one of the first ones in the window, but it seems like other teams are interested right now in Todibo as well. This could be another race that we miss out on. I'll also touch on a bit on a couple of quotes on Erik ten Hag before the Wigan game that's coming up later on today. He speaks on Casemiro and Lisandro being back on the pitch that I'm going to touch on this morning. He speaks on Altay Bayındır as well that I'll touch on. Our second goalkeeper, and also Rasmus Højlund being back in training. So a couple of bit of news for you all this morning. But yeah, let's just actually talk about this Todibo situation, right? We all know we need a centre-back this window as soon as possible, especially in the January window. The biggest topic of it all for Manchester United fans right now is how many centre-backs can we get, you know, by the time it's summer transfer window? Is it going to be one? Is it going to be two? How many centre-backs are we going to part ways with? Which centre-backs we're going to part ways with? This situation with Jean-Claire Todibo now, with Chelsea, AC Milan, Spurs, all of them sniffing around. I mean, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, if you have any loyalty to Manchester United, you're going to make that transaction happen, knowing that other teams are looking at the player already. I don't understand why this deal isn't happening. Todibo may be some people's preferred centre-back. You know, I don't really want to say too much until I see the player in a Manchester United shirt. I do think he's got good potential. He's a young centre-back, someone that we could do with right now. But this is the reason why we have Sir Jim Ratcliffe and the 25%. Why is he not making this deal happen? I don't understand. Why is there no negotiations already taking place? Why is it that Chelsea, AC Milan, Spurs and other teams are sniffing around only for us then to react? It absolutely doesn't make sense to me. One thing that is for sure, we're going to be parting ways with centre-backs this summer. A lot of people are saying Varane should be leaving. I am absolutely against it. A lot of people think obviously Maguire should be leaving, Lindelof should be leaving, Johnny Evans, I don't think he's going to stay. There is a bit of talk on Johnny Evans possibly staying in Manchester United for another year, which it scares me. It scares me. I don't know on what planet I could have imagined Johnny Evans staying, but Jean-Claire Todibo with Manchester United, we've been linked with him for so long. If it doesn't happen, then there's no point of that 25% deal. I'll be deadly honest. Like Red Bull do transactions amongst themselves, right? The RB group very quickly. Man City, the City group, they do it amongst themselves very quickly. If we have Sir Jim Ratcliffe, who's coming to Manchester United, who's already got, you know, ownership of OGC Nice, and we're looking at a player, why are we not making it happen? It only can tell you one thing, that the Manchester United board are that incompetent that they're not able to strike a deal with the already pre-existing owners of the club. That is how incompetent we are. There's no other way of explaining it. Either we're just beyond broke to the point we probably need to sell Willy Kambwala and try and get Todibo in, or we're just incompetent. Absolutely incompetent. Because I've been telling people who have been positive about this 25% takeover that there's something iffy about this. I don't like it. What kind of footballing decisions? INEOS are here to make footballing decisions. This is a footballing decision. Get Jean-Claire Todibo in. That is your first footballing decision, INEOS. You own the other club. INEOS is a player that Manchester United need. If you're here to make footballing decisions, you're here taking pictures with Erik ten Hag, going to Carrington, taking pictures. I'm tired of pictures. Stop taking pictures. This positive PR around INEOS is driving me absolutely mad. Absolutely mad. The you know, apparently staff members are happy with the INEOS takeover and they're motivated and rejuvenated. I couldn't give a toss. Go and get these sorts of deals done. Why are you dilly-dallying about? Centre backs, there are not many good centre backs out there anyways. The striker market is dry. You need to act fast. This season's already a write-off. I don't care how much Erik ten Hag goes and says, you know what, we're in the Premier League, we're in the FA Cup, there's 2 trophies to play for. No, there isn't, Eric. Who are you kidding? You're not kidding me. I'll be deadly honest, you're not kidding me. This season is an absolute write-off. Start preparing for next season. The first transaction you're supposed to make, which we should have made the last summer, was a centre-back. And if Manchester United are in for a centre-back that you already have, this is, yeah. Let me go through some super chats this morning. If you have any super chat, make sure to send it through and I will bring it up. Matthew Robinson, thank you very much for the super chat this morning. Says another transfer race will come second in. And I can definitely see that happen. And all I can tell you is, to the people who are massively and overly positive about INEOS, how do you feel now? I'm glad Mark has been saying it very honestly. How do you feel now? Do not be, blinded by Sir Jim Ratcliffe's grace. They can still make mistakes. They can still get things wrong. Just because 25% of Manchester United has been sold doesn't mean that's the best decision and the best thing that can happen to the club. No, it's not. Absolutely not. What is it? Duncania? I think that's how you pronounce his name. Duncania says, why would Nice INEOS let their best Todibo leave halfway through the season that they're challenging for their first ever Champions League qualification? Well, part of the report that you say is also that Nice hope to keep the defender this month. We all know teams don't want to let go of their best player in January. That's just not happening. But now you want to ask the question is, this is a fantastic question, is where does the loyalty lie more? You just said that OGC Nice are trying to get their first ever Champions League qualification, which is a fantastic achievement for them if they manage to get it this season, right? It would be fantastic. Manchester United are also trying to secure Champions League position this season if they can. I don't think they can. But this player will be pivotal. And now you're in the middle of a rock and a hard place here, because OGC Nice will obviously need their player. They don't have any loyalty to us. I can totally understand if a Nice fan comes out and says, what the hell do Man United, what are you doing? You've owned us first. You own majority of our club, Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Why are you going and giving our best player away? But then we're on this side sitting here and saying, well, you've just bought Manchester United. You promised a footballing structure. And if that's the case, why are you not? The first thing you're supposed to do is make good decisions happen in terms of the football. And if this is a player that we've been looking at, why are you not making it happen? It's a rock and a hard place. It's a catch-22. It is. But it's a fantastic question. Where does Sir Jim Ratcliffe's loyalty ultimately lie? Manchester United obviously is a bigger investment. I think they bought OGC Nice for the same price as Anthony, if I'm not mistaken. I think they bought OGC Nice for the same price as Anthony and Sancho put together. Whereas in Manchester United, the investment is bigger, the risk's bigger, the reward is bigger. So that's the only thing I can say. And that's with no disrespect to OGC Nice. Of course, no disrespect to them at all. David Moore says, does Sir Jim actually own B shares, or were they converted to A shares? Man United B shares, if sold to other than a Glazer, revert to A shares. I actually don't know the classification of how the shares got divided out. I don't. I think as far as I can make out, unless someone wants to correct me in the chat, I will go and find this out though for you. As far as I can make out, I think they got the B shares direct, and then they got some A shares as well. But I don't know if they turned into A shares because they sold the B shares to someone who's outside the Glazer family. I don't actually know. That's a good question. Let's touch on some of the quotes that have come out as well from Eric Ten Hag. I'll bring them up for you. Eric asked about concerns, if there are concerns about players avoiding joining Manchester United because how their careers could end up like Donny van der Beek's has gone. He says, I can tell you one thing, and that is that the Premier League is tough, and at Manchester United, it is tough to play here because in every other team, it is easier to play there because there is less pressure. It is so high, and you have to deal with that. But if you have confidence in yourself, then I think this is the best challenge. I agree. I agree. I don't usually agree with Eric Ten Hag in the press conference, but I agree that playing for Manchester United, you're definitely going to face the most amount of pressure that you're faced as a footballer. Funny, it's relation to Donny van der Beek, and funny things, he said some things about Donny van der Beek that I'm going to touch on. But yeah, you have to step up to the plate, and the pressure is definitely massive when it comes to Manchester United. So yeah, I do agree. I don't know why he mentions in terms of he says here it is tough to play here because in every other team it is easier to play there because there is less pressure. In terms of media aspect, I think Manchester United is probably the biggest and most scrutinised. But I'm sure there's pressure in Manchester City, I'm sure there's pressure in Liverpool, and I'm sure there's pressure in Arsenal. Yeah, but in terms of media scrutiny, though, 100% the pressure is the most when it comes to Manchester United. That's without a shadow of a doubt. He also touches on Casemiro and Lisandro Martinez. Just before I touch on them, a couple more super chats that I'm going to touch on. Anthony says, get on with it, get sporting director and recruitment specialist in yesterday. We need to get moving on this. Yeah, 100%. Listen, even if Paul Mitchell comes in, by the way, don't forget here, Paul Mitchell has a history of falling out with managers. On my shows anyways, I'll just tell you all the information I know, as much as I know, and keep it straight up and honest with you. Paul Mitchell has a history of falling out with managers. Dan Ashworth obviously has links and history with Graham Potter. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Just because Paul Mitchell may come in doesn't mean every decision he makes is perfect. No. Dan Ashworth is the same thing, by the way. And Sir Dave Brailsford, I think, watch out for him as well. I have a sus feeling about these lot. I'll be deadly honest. Very sus feeling. You're going to need a couple of windows for me to start believing in any form of project or structure or process that these lot have got going on. You're in bed with the Glazers. That's all I have to say. I don't trust a single person and an individual that is in bed with the Glazers. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You could only be money motivated to be involved with the Glazers. There's no way you can tell me that these lot are not money motivated. Of course they are. Of course they are. Jonathan Woodward says, review not completed and no DOF. Be patient. We are being patient. And what can we say other than what the news is right now? And what it is right now is we need a player. The player is signed to OGC Nice. The owners of OGC Nice own 25% of our club. That's the news. Anyways, Mojo, thank you very much for gifting 10 memberships this morning. Really, really appreciate you. Let me see. Going on to Casemiro and Lisandro. Eric Ten Hag says they are a long time back on the grass already, but now they have returned to team training, not fully, but partial, and now they have to make the next steps. That, of course, takes some days, I think even weeks. I'll tell you something, though, on whilst we're talking on Lisandro and Casemiro. I don't like how Manchester United fans, or a set percentage of Manchester United fans, are so fixated on constantly saying we're missing this player. The only player, and hand on heart, I can tell you with 100% confidence that we actually miss is Lisandro Martinez. I'll be deadly honest. Deadly honest. Because last season, Casemiro was absolutely pivotal to Manchester United. There's no denying it. Pivotal. But we have won games without Casemiro last season when he was having suspensions. Same again this season. Casemiro, a bit shaky at times. But when he's not here, we've also won games. We've lost games as well. I get it. But the over-reliance is what I don't get. Casemiro and Amrabat have played together this season as well. Don't forget. We brought in Amrabat to play next to Casemiro. We found Kobe Mino and seen him, how good he is, which makes, some positive headaches for Erik ten Hag on the pitch. But the over-reliance on players is sickening, in my opinion. It's sickening. It's sickening. The way Manchester United fans, and oh my God, I was keeping notes, right? Manchester United fans, I've heard sitting here, Manchester United fans say they miss Anthony. When Anthony was suspended, we miss Anthony. We miss Luke Shaw. We miss Bissaka when Dalot plays the most minutes and plays 2 different positions. We miss a striker. We missed Martial. We've got Rasmus Højlund now. He's got 1 goal in 14, 15 Premier League games. We just miss everyone. It's always that we miss someone. Lisandro Martinez is going to come back. Casemiro is going to come back. Manchester United fans will tell you we miss Luke Shaw and Mason Mount. We just miss everyone. Lisandro Martinez is the one player I can tell you, yes, that is a player that we miss. But the way we've been performing, Casemiro doesn't come in there and change the thing overnight. He was our top scorer before his injury issue, and then Scott McTominay became our top scorer. The team overall just don't play good football, whether Casemiro comes in or not. Casemiro's going to... Did Manchester United fans not say, did we not say that, Casemiro is being left alone in defensive midfield? As a CDM, he's been left alone. We've brought in Amrabat, situation still the same. The team don't play good football, guys. There's no point sitting here and telling you constantly, we miss someone, let's be positive now they're back. It is a positive that they're back, but let's not kid ourselves. The football is still awful. So with some of these players back, the football is absolutely awful. We've got all the centre-backs available at any given match day, yet the football is awful only because Lisandro Martinez is not there. What are you going to tell me now that we miss Harry Maguire? Manchester United fans will sit there, and one of the worst signings of Manchester United, Harry Maguire, they will say they miss Harry Maguire. And I just told you, I did a poll. I actually did a poll on Twitter, I remember, asking Manchester United fan base, did we miss Anthony? I can tell you the results of that poll when Anthony was suspended. It was a majority of people saying we miss Anthony. And that's Manchester United fans for you. Let me go on to the next quote. Erik ten Hag on Altay buying there. He says, we are totally happy and we constructed this group of goalkeepers because we are comfortable with this and we have the confidence in both. They are both very good goalkeepers. I don't buy it. I don't buy him saying that he's got confidence in both goalkeepers. That is an absolute obvious lie, in my opinion. It is. You didn't play Altay Bayındır against Crystal Palace in the cup run. Andre Onana, apparently he's going to be here for the Wigan game. And, that game against Crystal Palace, even the Newcastle game, right, in the cup run, not giving Altay Bayındır 1 chance. Literally 1 chance. I don't know. There was opportunities for Erik to play Altay Bayındır and he hasn't. I don't think he wants Altay to come in and overperform Andre Onana. And the funniest thing is, Erik ten Hag wanted Altay Bayındır in Ajax as a first choice keeper when Andre Onana was leaving. So it never made sense to me when cup run came, Newcastle and the Palace game, why he didn't give Altay Bayındır an opportunity. I don't get it. I really don't get it. He speaks on Rasmus Højlund and he says Højlund will be back in terms of today. He was not well for the Forest game the day before. We expected him to play, but he had to be withdrawn shortly before the game. he's now back in training. So that is a positive. I don't know what's the situation with Martial, if he's going to be available today against Wigan. Um, I will try and find out. But there was another bit as well that I wanted to bring up right this morning about what Erik ten Hag said in terms of Donny van der Beek. Let me just bring it up for you. Oh, I don't know where. There we go. There we go. Erik ten Hag speaks on Donny van der Beek, and he says, "From the moment I came here at Manchester United, he wasn't the player I had at Ajax because he was injured, and so many times he was unavailable. Then he struggled for a long time with recovering from that injury, so I think that is probably the main reason for why he wasn't playing. Then we decided on a loan in the summer and nothing came. Then his opportunities were so few because also we made appointments and agreements with players and there was conflict in those positions. The competition was high." Interesting. Keyword here, he says, we made appointments and agreements with players. Well, what agreements did you make? Because funny, when Martial was getting injured, you kept relying on Martial no matter what. Players get injured. That's just natural. Why the way there was clear run of games that Donny van der Beek was available for, but Erik ten Hag didn't use him at all. At all. So please don't just blame the injuries. Don't just blame whatever. It's clearly mentioned agreements with players. So there must have been some minute clause or something in players' contracts that Manchester United have brought in. So yeah, I don't know. Ricky says, if Binder plays well next 2 games, Ten Hag will still choose Onana. Garnacho for Man United Player of the Year. That's an interesting one. Garnacho as the Player of the Year. And if Binder plays well, I saw this comp going about online about Binder's goalkeeping mistakes, and it didn't fill me with joy. I saw him saving the ball a couple times and literally jumping inside of the net with the ball, which didn't fill me with joy. But it's a catch-22 again, because if Binder plays well, you've got a keeper that the fan base are going to turn around and say, play this keeper over Andre. Binder cost peanuts compared to what Andre Onana has cost the club. And on top of that, if Binder does perform well and Erik ten Hag doesn't play him going forward and continues to play Andre Onana, if Andre has any more mistakes, who looks bad? Erik looks bad. Again, if Andre Onana if Altay Binder comes in and doesn't perform well, then you've got Andre Onana, who's made crucial mistakes, and you've got Altay Binder, who's made crucial mistakes. Then the fan base are definitely then we're going to sit here and tell you, well, that's double the mistake for letting go of David De Gea. Only time will tell. I don't know if Andre Onana is going to start today. I'm hoping so against Wigan. If Altay Binder doesn't start against Wigan, then I don't know what's going on. Do we know, by the way, if Andre Onana is available for today? I think he is, isn't he, Greg? Yeah, he is, isn't he? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why Manchester United why Erik ten Hag wouldn't start Altay Binder. That's going to be a big decision for him to continue with Andre Onana and not give Binder 1 single minute. Because so many of us, if not majority of us, want to see Altay Binder play. Could we get a poll then to see how many people would want to start Altay Binder, producer, if that's okay? Just to wrap up the show, let's get a poll going. Yeah, would you like to see Altay Binder play over Andre Onana today? Because I most definitely would. But yeah, that's pretty much the latest news. There's not much coming out this morning on Manchester United. If there is anything else, I would have told you. But Wigan today, let me tell you something. I think we'll beat Wigan. We have to, right? There's no way we don't beat Wigan. If Manchester United, look, I put a tweet out this morning. I said, if we win against Wigan, there will be Manchester United fans who will sit there and say, this is a turning point for the manager. This is a turning point for the team. There's no justification. It's Wigan. They play in League One. If we can't beat Wigan, 4 goals, 3-4 goals, but that's not how football works. It doesn't just go off just because it's Wigan in League One. You know, they might have their night and it's away from home. We know our away record is shocking as it is. But if for whatever reason we fail to get a result at Wigan this evening, I don't know how you guys can justify it at all. This will be it. And I'm sit here and tell you, there are many, many big, accounts. There are other content creators as well who are sat there not being critical about the manager or not being honest with their takes. I'm telling you straight up right now. There are some people who are not being honest with their takes and they're stuttering, and I'm clearly watching them, and I'm keeping a note. I'm keeping a note on these people and these accounts who are not being critical, and they're feeding toxic positivity for the sake of what? Absolute nothing. But I hope Manchester United will win today, go forward into the FA Cup. Maybe somehow we can get into the semi-final if we can, make something out of this cup run if we can. But boy, if we don't win today, that's going to be a different story. Who starts for you today? And 83% of the people have said Bayern there. Tony Cox with a super chat says, I must admit, after 50 years, this club is worse than EastEnders. One drama after another. It's getting to me now. Tony, I appreciate your super chat, but it's been getting to me for a long, long time. Long time. But we throw a brave face on one way or another. 17% of the fans who voted Andrew Onana, someone said that's the Wigan fans. Malp says, forget the cup, we ain't winning it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I think Manchester United should win today. We don't make games any easier than they need to be. We make it hard for ourselves. Sometimes even looks like on purpose. But I don't know. I'll be on the build-up show with Sam and Beth later on as well. This has been your morning show on the United Stand. Make sure to like the video on your way out or comment on the video after the video is up on your thoughts on the Todibo news. Chelsea and AC Milan are sniffing around Todibo. That don't sound good. You know what I mean. They're looking at the player. Thank you all. Take care. And I'll catch you on the next one.